A teen spy for the Union Army? True story Part 2. John stood inside General Meade's tent at Gettysburg, surrounded by officers, maps, and tension thick as smoke. The general looked him over. Skeptical, "You're Sparrow." John nodded. 16, with a dirty coat, tired eyes, and a thin scar running along his jaw. He didn't look like a spy, but he didn't need to. Meade cut to the point. "Lee's preparing something. A flank, maybe. We need answers now." John said nothing. He took the rough sketch map, folded it tightly, and disappeared before nightfall. He traveled light, no gun, no food, just a fake identity and a message hidden in his boot. Every mile toward Confederate lines felt colder, not just in air, but in danger. He moved through broken roads, abandoned farms, and whispers of death that seemed to hang in the fog. Somewhere out here, General Lee was planning the most important attack of the war, and someone else was planning to stop him, Grayson Wolfe. Wolfe was no ordinary man. Former Pinkerton detective who switched sides, Wolfe was now the Confederacy's deadliest hunter, intelligent, patient, and obsessed. His one goal: find and kill the Union's invisible ghost sparrow. John knew the name. He didn't yet know the face. 3 nights later, John reached Fairfield, a Confederate-occupied village where officers often passed through. He posed as a stable boy, working for scraps, shoveling manure, keeping his head down. It was there, while brushing down a nervous horse, that he heard at troop movements. Directions whispered between 2 drunken soldiers outside the tavern. They spoke of Lee's maneuver through the ridge and a coordinated assault from the west. John memorized every word, then turned to leave, but someone was watching. "Okay?" Tall man in a gray coat stood by the fence, silent, cold eyes, calm expression. He didn't blink. John lowered his head, brushed past him. "You look familiar," the man said. John mumbled, "I get that a lot." The man didn't stop him. He just stared. That night, John slipped out, heart pounding, boots soaked in frost. He didn't stop running until he crossed back into Union territory. He delivered the intel to General Medley, was preparing a surprise attack from the western ridge. Thanks to John, the Union repositioned divisions just in time. Gettysburg erupted in chaos. Though John wasn't a soldier, he stayed. He carried messages across the battlefield, dodged bullets, helped the wounded, and once even picked up a musket when a Confederate unit broke the line. Blood, smoke, screams. 3 days of horror. When it ended, the field was covered in silence and bodies. John had survived, but something inside him had changed. After the battle, the generals offered him a medal. He refused. "Give it to someone who stood in the open," he said. I hid in shadows, but the war wasn't done with him. In early 1864, after dozens of missions, John wanted to disappear, to vanish into peace. But then came Richmond. One cold morning, a rider arrived with sealed orders. A Confederate supply line near Richmond had to be mapped and sabotaged. John hesitated. Then he remembered Caleb Elijah. The names carved into his memory, he accepted. Richmond was no town, it was a trap, swarming with guards, spies, and questions. John entered dressed as an orphan, hiding in the filth, living among rats and ash. His contact was a baker named Clara, who passed information inside loaves of bread. She met him in the back room of her shop, candle flickering low. "There's a new schedule," she whispered. "Lee's ammunition is moving on these routes." She handed him a map. "Get it out fast, and be careful. Wolfe is here." The name hit like ice. John nodded, tucked the map inside his coat lining, and stepped into the street. That's when he saw him. Wolfe, standing across the square, hands behind his back, staring straight at him. John didn't wait. He ran. The chase tore through Richmond alleys, roofs, mud, fences. Wolfe was faster than expected, smarter. John dodged bullets, ducked behind barrels, leapt across a canal, slipped into a laundress's chimney, covering himself in soot. He emerged hours later, coughing but alive. He boarded a coal barge heading north, collapsing in a pile of ash. Back in Union hands, John delivered the map. Within days, Union cavalry struck the supply line. Ammunition was destroyed. Lee's forces were left scrambling. John had done it again. But this time it wasn't victory he felt. It was exhaustion. He was being hunted. He was haunted. Wolf had seen his face. The war wasn't over. It had just become personal. If you liked the video, comment part 3, and Dan T, forget to subscribe to the channel. Next part coming soon.